Ready to go? All right, fantastic. All right, how's it going? As stated, this is going to be Rage Any %. We're going to get right into it. First thing we're doing is we're just going to do a quick little introductory section to the game. Going to fix up a couple controls and load skip. So, this is going to be a pretty straightforward run. There's not a whole lot of technicality to the skips or anything involved. A lot of it is going to be pretty explained as you go, and we're gonna get through as much as we can. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit this panel. It's going to do the regular aim up and down. What's that? Oh yeah. Alright, so one of the first things we're going to do, really weird thing with the DLC in this game, this allows us to skip a good portion of the section at the start where it's, you know, doing a little bit of trickery to explain what exactly is happening in the game. I just realized that jump's not bound. Video, not video. There we go. All right, so that skip that we just did where we just seemingly loaded part of the game, for whatever reason, when you have the DLC installed for this game, it creates that save. That doesn't exist without the DLC installed, and basically just saves us a cutscene and a bit of messing around. Normally what we would do is jump into the car here with our John Goodman impersonator, but instead what we're going to do is we are going to do a little bit of traversing. We're going to get over here. There's a little kill plane here, so if we're not careful and we fall out, there's something that stops you. You basically get shot. Come on. But if we trek outside of this gate in a very peculiar manner, we can get past the little section where it kills us and just continue with the game. This is a pretty shiny example of the terrain in this game being very slippery. So if you're not careful, you just slip down the edge. There we go. So we do a little ramp boost up here, line ourselves up, do some rhythmic jumps, and there we're over. So now we won't get shot if we move past. And this introduces the first movement tech of the game. This game is based on the Quake engine, and it uses a lot of the movements that a lot of Quake players would be familiar with. This one in particular is called VG-free strafe hopping. Essentially what we're doing is we're holding down our forward and our left and rights while we're holding down sprint, and we're just scrolling our jump button. We use this to traverse quite a large amount of distance until we end up getting a car. So this is speed that you obviously wouldn't normally see. And the reason that we just entered that building and left, this is actually part of the fence skip that we just did. So normally what happens is we jump into that car, and they'll take us through this portion of the map here, all the way to their hideout, where they give us a bit of dialogue. And if we don't jump into the car, then the section that we come up to becomes locked off. It only opens when we enter that portion. It's entirely scripted. So what we're going to do here instead... Ooh. What we're doing is we're spamming our left and rights, trying to get in between a little collision. There we go. Just do a wiggle back and forth. It's very, very peculiar. It's not as easy as something like a Doom paperclip. Come on. There we go. There we go. Perfect. So that is the only time we do that paperclip in the run, which is unfortunate because it's a really cool skip to have. So, this is where we start the game as normal. So, like I said, we just skipped that with the buggy, and we had to do a bunch of messing around to get in there. Now, what we're doing is we're going to a ghost hideout. Story-wise, it's just a matter of you've emerged from an arc that's been dormant since an asteroid collided with the world. You've gotten out, and that's the first guy that helps you. So what we're doing for him is we're going to we're going to the enemy hideout where we've kind of made a couple of people angry. And we're gonna take them all out, and we're gonna leave. That's all we need to do. We've got to be careful there. If we launch off that edge, there's a very good chance we die to full damage. All right. So a lot of the objectives in this game, even though it is open world, it is quite linear. They're all broken up by dungeons like this, where we'll navigate the open world, quote unquote, and get to these areas, and that's where most of our missions will be. And a lot of it is going to be this. We're going to be strafe hopping through the area, avoiding most of the enemies where we can. We've got a couple of skips in there.
Well, look at what
We're gonna give him time to speak this one.
How dare you think you can walk into our house? Take him to the kill.
We love the kill room. All right, so this introduces the mechanic for this game when it comes to dying and reviving. It is defibrillator. Basically, what happens is there's a little charge that you can get. It'll charge every 5 minutes from when you die, and it gives you this. So you're near death, and it gives you like a little mini game. The closer you get, the more health you get. But we don't really need it because we've got regenerating health, as is games from this era. All right, like I said last time, just a bunch of missing enemies here. Get through. There we go. Have to do a little bit of manipulation to get past certain enemies. All right, now the objective for this area in particular is we have to take out everyone that's involved. Uh-oh. Okay, we're gonna do this a bit differently. No, we're not. We're gonna do this long way. Hold on. There we go. Ah, they're assigned to F keys. The reason that we don't want the F keys to be assigned is because they also act as our quick save and quick load, which is going to be important later. So just 2 well-placed grenades. Perfect. No. Ah, this guy. There's always a straggler. So even though the mission for this particular area is that we have to kill all the enemies and then leave, the kill count actually only counts for that last room that we're in. So that's the only time we have to engage in combat there. A lot of the missions have their own little quirks. It's not the most well thought out game when it comes to mission design. And same deal as last time, we're going to be floating back. So I'll explain a bit of the what's going on with the movement here, because you may notice that every now and then I'll just stop moving. And the reason for that is one of the quirks of the Quake engine is something called overbounce. If you're familiar with Quake, or if you've watched something like Call of Duty speedrunning, this is actually quite prevalent in Call of Duty speedrun. When you hit a plane at a certain angle, at a certain velocity, you'll do something called an overbounce. And what'll happen is basically you land.
Welcome, stranger.
There we go. You'll land where you do, and you'll bounce up in the air really high. It's one of the coolest tricks in Call of Duty speedrunning, but they tried to stop that from working in this. So what they did was they basically implemented a code where if you start the process of what causes the overbounce, you come into a couple of units from the ground. Basically, you dive into the ground, you clip through, and it stops it from moving. So if you kind of have to float around the textured surface in a certain way to make sure you're not hitting certain angles, because otherwise, yeah, it'll just stop you in your tracks completely. There is a version of this game where that is patched out. That is not the version that we're running today, but it is the most preferred one.
You need something, stranger?
So this is the Outrigger settlement. Basically, they're doing a couple of things for the settlement that we were just at. Now we're coming over to here to basically do them a couple of favors. All right, so this is why we're running in 64-bit for this run. What's just happened here is a very random soft lock. He normally moves over here. If he does this, this is a run killer. So we're just gonna have to get around that, unfortunately. But that's fine. It's no big deal. It's one of the weird quirks in this game, especially for that character. There's two ways they soft lock. That one is random. There is one that can be. There we go.
Couldn't help but notice,
Yep.
stranger.
And there's that one that is just.
Probably just out of line.
It is what it is. But if we press F right now, he does it again. All right. So while I'm traversing to the next area, I'll explain what was happening with the dialogue there. So you may have noticed with this and with the person I was speaking to at the start of the game that I was running back and forth while I was speaking with them. Now the reason that we were doing that is the characters have a dialogue animation to them. And when you're traversing about the real world, the open world, your actions will dictate what certain characters will do when you land in a certain radius of them. And with characters that speak, they have their own... Ooh. Perfect, first go. All right, they have their own little radius that they... if you walk away from them and start talking to them, perfect. 3 tries out of 2, not bad. If you walk away, they stop talking to you, they go back to their daily lives. If you go up to them, they enter a state where you can talk to them. The unintended side effect of that... Excuse me. The unintended side effect of that is you can skip entire chunks of dialogue.
No, not bad, stranger.
We're gonna run away. Sorry about that. So you can skip entire chunks of dialogues, and that's sentences at a time. It's tremendous time save.
Some advice before you go.
Ooh. Sorry, I've got a mad tickle in my throat right now, so it's... All right, there we go. So yeah, so that's basically what you're doing when you're running back and forth. The other thing you would have noticed is there was a little section there where I was aiming down my sights, trying to... God, every time. I was aiming down my sights and interacting with something far away. That's a glitch called a scope glitch. It's a very specific property with the handgun for this game. Thank you.
Good work.
Perfect. It's a very specific glitch. You can't do it with a sniper. You can't do it with a shotgun. It only works with the pistol and the scope for this game. For this gun.
Not a bad. Johan, back at the Outrigger. Okay, see you back here.
I will take that drink. All right. What am I doing? Okay. I'm gonna get to this dialogue and take this drink. Look, if something doesn't go wrong with the setup, it goes wrong with the person. Can count on that. Tech can't help with the person. All right.
Welcome, friend. So, dear, think you can handle this? Won't be easy taking on the bandits on the North Turk. Here, take some fat boys for your pistol. That
Nailed it. All right, perfect. Sorry. Where was it? Okay, sorry. Yeah, scope glitch. So the scope glitch, as I mentioned, it's a very specific property to this gun. It kind of pulls your interaction box forward. Don't know why. Like I said, it doesn't work with any other scope and gun combination in this game. And it allows you, if you time the interact button, I don't believe it's frame perfect, but it's pretty close. You can interact with objects farther away than what you normally would have access to. And that allows us to skip certain portions of the game. It's mainly used here and a skip that we do later, but it is one of the more game-breaking skips because it does save such a large portion. What we're doing here, again, for the most part, avoiding interactions. We've got to, there we go. We have to work with the RNG of enemy movement now. There we go. We're just avoiding contact whenever we can. We're picking up a couple of items at the same time as well. And that's got to do with the fact that we do need to make certain purchases in the game. There's just junk scattered everywhere, and the little bits that we pick up here and there do add up. So we're gonna, again, just kind of manipulate them to do certain rolls and dodges, get them out of the way. Enemy placement is quite important for a couple of dungeons in this game. Cool. This is technically our first boss for the game. In our weapon ammo, we've got something called Fat Boys. This game has various alternate ammo types for all the weapons in the game. We will be using one of them when we finally get the shotgun for the game and get to our first shop. We will be using pretty much one type of ammo for the rest of the game. Alright, we're going to do some GTA, hijack this, and we're going to go back to the settlement, get another mission, and make our way forward from there. Now, the reason that we picked this up, we can do our strafe hopping, our bunny hopping through this area, and it is faster. However, because this particular section where there's little dives and valleys exists, you can quite easily drop it due to the overbounce protection, as stated before. Perfect. So
those parts should do the trick.
We're gonna wait here. Perfect. That just saves the dialogue. Yeah, we just take the buggy for the matter of consistency. If we drop one hop on the way to there, then it does become slower. All right. So we've got our buggy, so we're not going to be traversing this way for much longer. Now we're going to go
How do you like that buggy?
clear a path.
You think you can do this for me?
To do that, we get a sniper as well. We do not use the sniper at all in this run.
You're good to finish your run.
I have been ordained by the great Sten himself. All right. All right, so the reason that we do that in that certain angle, those rockets are one hits, and if we get out and time it wrong, they will shoot us. It's unfortunate, but we can't do anything about it.
Come back and see me if you dare. Out.
Great work.
All right, now we are going to our first major settlement.
Mayor Clayton runs the
So as you can see, this is the radius and effects.
Can you make the
Not every character has a radius, and some characters have pixel perfect radiuses, where the radius ends maybe like just before a certain area. So we do have a little bit to work with there. All right, so we're headed to Wellspring. What we're going to do in Wellspring is we're going to meet a couple of the townsfolk. Specifically, we speak with the mayor and the sheriff. The mayor and the sheriff are going to give us our mission paths. So like I said, this game, even though it is technically considered open world, it is very linear in how the missions progress, to the point where you can pretty much line everything up perfectly. So we're going to get out here. We're gonna wait. Interesting. Perfect. Scope glitch, get ourselves a turret. We're going to wait for the dialogue again. The whole reason that we're waiting there is that particular person, for some reason, their dialogue interrupts the dialogue that you need to get through. So if we stay back a certain distance, the dialogue that he interrupts can go through with no issue. Alright, so first trip is to the mayor. The mayor's portion of this is dealing with a fellow named Kavasia. That handles all of the everything to do with the mutants, as well as some authority-related stuff. Authority being the bad people in this game. And Sheriff will help us get our weaponry for certain parts. The Sheriff is the most important. A part of the DLC is the outfit that we just picked out. You may have noticed that there's 4. Without the DLC, there's usually only 3. Ooh, that's a dialogue skip. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, so with all that being said, we're going to try and get through this race as quickly as we can. We're going to purchase a couple of things, and the reason that we do certain purchases will be made clear once we get to the shop. But we're going to buy some weapon upgrades, some car weapon upgrades, as well as some shields. We're never going to use the shields. We're going to hold on to those shields and sell them later. This race, there's nothing really going on with this race. It's usually a minute 28 to a minute 30, depending on how well you take the corners. If there's any donations, now's the perfect time.
I would like to remind the audience of the incentives at the donation bid wars for tomorrow's Pokemon Fire Red speedruns. So we'll have a couple of donation bid wars, such as like the Boy versus Girl donation bid war, or the rival name bid war, which is currently with Wester at the top. The Squirtle name bid war with lowercase w, uppercase E, lowercase RST, uppercase E, lowercase R at the top. And we have also have the trainer name bid war with Wester again at the top. So anyone want to try to shift the balance of those bid wars, get your choice in, donate right now, because the run is going to be, it's going to be the second run or tomorrow's stream. Back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it'll be perfect. That run's going to be really good. It's always good to have that run. All right, perfect. So that's given me a second to realign, get me back on a good speech path, so I can figure out and stop rambling so much. All right, so we're going to make those purchases that I mentioned. So we're going to purchase 4 of these, because that's all the money that we have, and these weapons. Now, the reason that we buy the weapons there is because when we go to the Sheriff, I did mention that he's our main proponent when it comes to weaponry for our cars and explosives and things like that. I blanked out. We come back to him in a second. So when we finish this mission path with Clayton, he's going to make us go to Mick over in the garage and go to Sheriff. But when we meet Sheriff, normally the mission path for this is when you're playing the game normally. You come in here, you do everything that Clayton says, and then you do the race afterwards. If you do the race beforehand, it doesn't stop you from doing it, and you just, for some reason, skip a giant portion of dialogue. So when I go up here, normally you would have quite a big conversation with him about his involvement in town. But you can just walk away because you did the race first. You purchased the weapon that you would need. You just leave. So that's just one. Again, there's a couple of logic things that are just missing. We're going to craft that lock rider because we can sell it for more. All right, towing. So there's a lot of fail-safes in this game. It seems that they were kind of concerned about whether or not players would have a way back, especially in the higher difficulties, where you can die quite easily. So you can you can tow your vehicle anywhere in the open area. You can go to two places, Gerard's Garage and Mick's Garage. We are going to teleport to both of them during the run. However, what you can do is, the towing is $50 minimum. However, if you have no money, you can still tow your vehicle. So that is why we make the purchases that we make. We want to make sure that we have absolutely no money whatsoever. And then we're not spending money for the tow. And then when we come back for our shop, we're going to sell all the stuff that we got and make our purchases that way. So we do it all in 2 sittings, one sitting here and one sitting in the next place. All right. Okay, so you'll see he goes back down and comes back up. If we... Yeah, we can't. One more. No. Okay. So the reason that I'm aiming in that particular way, so as I mentioned, with some radiuses, there's a little bit of pixel perfectness to him and another one called Lassard later. Basically what you're trying to do is if you get to a certain point and run back to him, his animation where he goes back to... Okay. That's right, nothing crazy. When he goes back down to his animation and goes back up, there's about a minute in total. All right, perfect. There's about a minute there in total of him just going through all the stuff that he needs to do. So if you can get it perfectly, you skip it entirely. But it only happens with 2 people. Dusty 8 sponsored events. All right. So now what we're doing is we are going to do the mission for the mayor, which is go to the Feltrite crater, and the mission for the sheriff, which is we're going to go to a game show, win some cash money prizes, and then get an upgraded vehicle as a result. And this will be one of the places that we do the tow. It's a good explanation for collision issues in the game as well, because this mission is quite quick. Like I said, we're avoiding all combat. We're just picking up an item and bailing. We're going to sit in a certain way. We're going to push up against it, and it's going to allow us to hit the interacts, grab the item, and leave. But as you can see, it's open world in the sense that you can travel to quite large distances in the hub world, but it's a very limited overworld. That does bring to the theme of this game. A lot of you might not know what it is, even though it comes from one of the biggest developers in the world. So this is an id Tech title. This was the title that they created between Doom 3 and Doom Reboot. And for some reason, it just fell under the radar for the gen that it came out on. Alright. So we're going to go up against it. We're going to get shot a bunch. There we go. Perfect. So we're going to go to Gerard's Garage because this is quicker. And the reason that I bring up that it happened between those 2 games is this game went through a bit of a dev hell. I put together my own... And as a result, even though it's quite a high budget game, there was a lot of unfinished aspects of it, and it was extremely buggy when it came out as well. So it does open up the game to quite a bit of tomfoolery. As you'll see, it's more prevalent in the later portion of the game where we just managed to skip an entire section basically.
Well, will you look here?
Dialogue. So that's JK Styles. He runs a game show where basically the mutants that were created from the crater that hit, as I mentioned earlier, basically is target practice for the character. So we are doing this in the order that we're doing it to minimize the amount of tows that we need to do before we get paid. And this is where we're going to get the biggest amount of money for this first area. We want to try and get around $1,600. There is a little bit of buffer with how much that you can get. The money that you get for this is entirely based on It's entirely based on accuracy and time. So you want to be as accurate as possible and as fast as possible. A lot of the spawns are set. So this particular section that we're entering into has a set spawn, then an RNG spawn, then a set spawn. So it is pretty quick to get through. All right. Now this is the shotgun. You're gonna see this pretty much the majority of the weapon used throughout the rest of the run. We will still use the pistol for certain skips, but the shotgun is our main kill. All right, perfect. Thankfully, it doesn't have the issues that the Doom 3 shotgun. Mutants are just quite fast moving. So even if we don't get the kill on the shot, we still get 100% accuracy. So that was the RNG spawn section. They just come randomly out for the tubes. These ones all come down. And we're gonna jump shot. Okay. It's no stress if you can't get that shot. It just looks cool. All right. %, that's fine. Now we got another set spawn. Gonna sit here. Perfect. All right. Low accuracy there is not too bad. All right, here we go. Big money prizes. Like we said, money's the aim of the game. We got a little matchy match. We're gonna shoot the target. It's gonna get faster and faster as we go. I didn't need to explain it. He explained it for me. Now, we obviously don't want to land on the skull. That's where it gets slow. Never mind. You don't get big money from this. In fact, you get the amount that you get from the initial portion of this is if you mess up the timing, they can swarm you there. The amount that you get, you probably spend more trying to refill the ammo that you use to get it. All right, perfect. So all in all, it's not a bad Mutant Bash TV. It's one of the more hyper-competitive ones. All right. So the reason I'm aiming at this tentacle, you can see these tentacles have 3 lights on them. 2, 3. Every time you shoot that fish, you get $200. All right. Unfortunately, we can't shoot these ones in advance. Okay. All right, perfect. All right, shot might be a little bit hectic. 1395 isn't amazing. This is our first major boss. This is the Kraken. And it's just gonna be, ooh. See, we don't mind if we get hit. No? Okay, it must have, yeah, 90% accuracy. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, that boss is super easy. The easy mode on this game is really forgiving. which is funny because Ultra Nightmare is one of the most unforgiving difficulties I've ever played in a game. For this game, at least. 16-17. All right, so we're doing pretty good on money. And that's Mutant Bash TV. Yeah, the bosses in this game aren't really bosses. They're not really that great. Teleport back to Mixed Garage. There's only one boss that's like an actual real boss, and even then, that one's still a cakewalk as well. Wellspring. All right, perfect. So we want to go back to Jackie Weeks.
It's been a long time.
So I think I missed the explanation for this. So the reason that we were doing that, you go to Mutant Bash TV to perform in the show to get sponsored for this race. And if you win this race, you get an upgraded vehicle. Now this is a pretty hard race. We're just gonna pretend it's hard. All right, so again, super simple. The track is exactly the same except for this turn here. There is really nothing to races in this game. You have a couple of point-to-point circuits like this. The main ones that are hard when you do races in other categories are the rally races, where there are random components involved. Sticky keys again? We love sticky keys. How good is sticky keys? All right. I think I should be fine to not spam the shift key around the corners. I'm not gonna do that again.
Do we have the time to read a donation?
Oh, we absolutely have time for a donation.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a $15 anonymous donation with no comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, BalakehB.
Thank you, Anonymous. So the reason that we're doing the nitrous around the corners like that, nitrous isn't really that great for top speed. In this game, it is very much tied to acceleration. So you use the nitrous just to kind of skim around the corner and keep your speed up. All right, so now we're going back to Sheriff Black. He's going to give us the mission that we need. All right, so we're going to try this again.
I'm glad you got yourself something that won't.
Nope. Can we get one more?
Northern Watchtower.
No, okay.
It won't be easy.
It's a little bit tricky. It's easier on lower field of views because you can get your visual cue a lot easier on the lower field of view. It's just not fun playing on the lower field of view.
But whatever it is you got there, old man Cavassier, take that sample to him. I'll let Cavassier know you'll.
All right, perfect. So this is where we'll see the Caprino now. We're gonna get to Cavassier, and it's gonna be a lot of nothing. So I'll probably reiterate some of the tech that I maybe got half a sentence in because I was struggling to figure out the right way to bring that in context. A lot of the Cavassier stuff is exposition, and it's entirely unskippable. Not entirely too sure why that's the case, but even if you no clip, you cannot get to any points in that particular area where his dialogue has an end. And I think they just decided not to configure one because realistically you can't go anywhere. Alright, so we're gonna line this up. We're gonna wind down the bridge. Take a little shortcut. Normally we have to go normally I would have to go all the way around, and this actually saves us, I think, about 2 minutes worth of time. It's not an insignificant amount of time. And the reason that we do it in that order is because that whole time, there's an animation with the bridge coming down, so it's just easier, quicker. All right, perfect. Just so we can see.
Let's see what you have there. Put it on the counter and we'll see what has Clayton all worried.
Alright. See if I can still remember how to do this. There we go. Oh no! So, you're going to hear him still talking. This is the absolute bottom of the level. You can just no-clip through here, apparently. And, yeah.
Interesting.
No matter what you do.
Felt right.
Can't skip it. I believe he's the only one with dialogue that you can't skip in this game. So he's going to be running a bit of exposition about the story, about his involvement with the Resistance, the Authority. You are essentially what is called an Ark survivor, which is what he is in. He's in a giant Ark where a bunch of people were stored. He just brings you back up for this mission anyways. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. It's a very, very simple story. Just very cliche archetypes. There wasn't a whole lot thought into it about anything to do with the story, to be honest. A lot of it is to do with the world building, the combat, and a lot of the designs in the game. That's where most of the energy got put into.
If the Authority catches you and you don't have anything they need, you'll be dead. You are part of the old world, not part of their new world.
So as I said, it's pretty cliche. So, as we mentioned, strafe hopping, it's pretty common with Quake engine games. There are games with bunny hopping as well, obviously Counter-Strike. The main difference is the way that you're doing it, holding your momentum button, so your forward button, as well as your left and right at the same time. And a trick to it as well that we're going to use later is something called circle strafing, where essentially we are using our diagonal momentum to make our jumps longer. It's going to help us with a couple of skips, where essentially if you run, jump, you've got a distance. If you run basically in a circle, ooh, we need to get that. If we run around in a circle, we build up a lot of momentum while staying in the same spot. So we can build up the momentum and jump quite a large distance. Very important for the well. A lot of the stuff that you're seeing with regards to enemy manipulation, most of the enemies are set in spawn areas. Spawn in set areas. But obviously, there's some AI involved, and it's just a matter of making the AI act in certain ways. We try to avoid as much combat as we possibly can at the start. Once we get the weapon upgrade that we're going into Wellspring to get now, the combat is trivial. We don't mind shooting a couple of enemies to get them out of the way. In fact, a lot of the time it is quicker. Alright, perfect. Ooh, wrong way. So the reason that we come back here is when we jumped up and talked to that guy, we were essentially giving him supplies. Now that we've given him supplies, Sheriff Black is letting us know about how the Authority are working with they're working with explosives and creating RC bomb cars, basically. But they have a giant explosive cache that we're about to go to and try sabotage. Alright. Do need a bit of focus here. So this is the shop. It's quite important. We just want to make sure that we don't sell things that we need. So you. Ooh. All right. Ingredients. We want pop rockets. 36. 26. 26. 26, and then we want the rest in buckshot. Alright, so the reason that we do that is RC bomb cars. So the RC bomb cars are part of one, probably actually the most important tech in this game, called RC bomb skipping. Essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to use the momentum of the explosives in order to get over quite large heights that we otherwise wouldn't normally be able to do. And because we're on easy, we can stack these explosives and not die as a result. I think we use about 30 RC cars, and there's, give or take. So they are, yeah, like I said, they're quite important. And the pop rockets, the second most important part of the game. So on easy, the pop rockets basically will kill most things in one shot, give or take. They are radius based, but when you're aiming right at them, it doesn't really matter. All right, so now that we've done that, we're going to go to the Shrouded Bunker. The Shrouded Clan is the one that the Sheriff's worried about. And then we're going to go to Dead City. When you're starting out, these particular areas are kind of run killers. Shrouded Bunker, not so much. Dead City, absolutely. And when you're playing higher level, Dead City in particular has movement in it that is quite important. And if you fail one thing in particular, you're pretty much done. Alright, so we're going to park a little bit away from the entrance. Awesome. Now this is our start. So we're going to swap over to our pop rockets. We're going to pick this up. We want him to come blow us up because we want this over here. Shoot that, shoot that. Alright. Alright. Paperclip time. So this paperclip is nowhere near as difficult as the one that we did at the start, but we do need to do an extender grab. We're going to clip through the wall. We aimed on a little decal that allowed us to have the appropriate lineup. Alright, now we're going to have our first death abuse. So we're going to swap the difficulty up to Ultra Nightmare. This is why the DLC is important, is to be able to do this skip. You can do it without it, but it is considerably more difficult. So we are going to do it. We're going to do a quick save just in case. So we're going to time it. Perfect. And this is where the defib comes important. Alright, perfect. Completely under the map. So we're going to swap back to our RC car. We're going to line this up with a visual cue. That's unfortunate. That's right. I'm not too stressed about that one. RC car's not going to end it. So we're going to go back to easy. So when we jump up, we can't get through. There's an invisible wall here that we need to try get through. So we're going to line up with this car. Yeah, and that's why we thankfully have quick saves. If we didn't have quick saves, this run would be a lot harder than it is. Nope. So it might be an issue with the visual cue, because I can't see. No, it should be fine. Alright. Alright, we're going to play it safe. Luckily, one of the things that we can do if we're having issues is we can add another car to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Luckily us. Alright, so now we're going to jump up here. So like I said, quick saves super vital for this because there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong in this run. Like, if we didn't have quick save, the run would be over there. Now, we're lining up with this rail so we can get through here. Perfect. So that skip that we've just done has skipped 5-7 minute dungeon. Probably even longer if you're first playing the game. It is massive. We used to have to do a more precise skip when it comes to movement to be able to get through certain triggers without being detected. Now we're just going to do similar to what we did at the start. We're just going to rhythmically tap our forward key and jump key. There we go. Because if we spam it, it doesn't let us up, and it keeps sending us back down, as you saw. Perfect. So that's elevator skip. Elevator skip is pretty cool. We don't get to do it again. Essentially, what we're doing is we're when you activate the elevator, it essentially creates a barrier around the elevator to stop you from jumping out while it's moving out. And luckily for us, because we are lodged in it, it allows us to basically just skim up the side of the elevator. Come on. All right, Dead City. Dead City because it is Dead Run City. So we're going to swap back to our shotgun. We're going to reload. We've got our nades out. So you may notice that with a lot of the movement, I did mention earlier that terrain is a little bit tricky. The reason being is with the movement tech that we're doing, we're creating a lot of momentum for ourselves. And this terrain, it's not like, it's not painted. It's not a painted hill. It's actually sticking out of the ground. So we're going to line up. I must have missed the grenade? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so like when we go up these stairs, you see I get a little bit of hang time when I go up these stairs. It is very momentum based, but the downside to that is certain slopes have no grip to them whatsoever. And it creates a bit of a hassle when we're doing the movement that we're doing, or when we're doing certain skips, where we just kind of slide down the hill, or slide down the surface. And it's something that, if you start to slide, you can't really control. Okay, why is that pistol round? So RNG spawns there. Just got to focus up on movement. All right, this is one of the cool ones. Normally what you would do is you would kill a couple of enemies here, have a boss encounter with the Kraken, like we did similarly. We're going to save there, so if we fail this, we're not going to get bugged. So that's him. So yeah, we don't want him, he's gonna come up to us and keep hitting us, so it's just easier to... There we go. All right, fantastic. If you're good, you can ramp jump over and crouch under the roof to get through. But it is a bit more precise than other ramp jumps would be. So we do have a backup. It used to be we would RC jump over that, and I'm glad that we don't have to do that anymore. Like I said, the shop is quite important, so if we can use less RC cars, it's quite vital. Because it means that we don't need as much junk in order to sell, in order to buy more parts. All right, we got another paperclip coming up. Like I said, normally we'd go through a certain encounter. This clip saves us about 5 minutes, and that's all we do. That's a 5-minute skip, which is amazing. Now we have to kill 3 of these enemies here, and that's going to... Sometimes he's on the bus. That's going to get the enemy to open up here. The enemies are called mutants, by the way, so I'm probably going to call them mutants going forward. the mutants, like I said, they spawn in set ways, and they have a lot of scripts behind what happens. So we get rid of him. There's a guy that will stop us. All right. And this is probably the only boss in this game that you would consider an actual boss. When you're going through, you hear a lot of rumbling and you see him off in the distance. It's quite menacing when you see him. But when you get through this, you just pick up a rocket launcher, which we won't be using after this. We wait for an opening. He's going to come here. We're going to wait. And then we're going to shoot. It is that easy. We have to do it 3 times, and he just gets a little bit faster each time. Unfortunately, bosses are not the strong suit of this game. Boss design, absolutely. I think this boss looks incredible, but there's just nothing to it. And the reason that we're getting him to do that is because that is the fastest animation that, that it's got when it comes to hitting you. So he'll do left hand here, and then left hand here. No? Okay, that was interesting. But yeah, no consequence if he hits you. And that's it. Ooh, we need the ammo. He's gonna fall over, create an opening. And that's it. Like I said, super simple boss design. Unfortunately, there's not really much to him. Rushed of ideas is what I would say that is. We're gonna manipulate this guy. There he is. He took a little bit longer than normal. That was quite strange. But we manipulate him so we can go up the upper escalator. Alright. Now, story-wise, the reason that we're even here to begin with, as I mentioned, there's a defibrillator that is our main mechanic for reviving if we die, and we use it for abusing. When we do this, we get an upgrade that allows us to do 2. So it's not vitally important to us, it's just required for the story. Alright, awesome. And that's Dead City. So like I said, it's only a run killer when you're a beginner or you're vying for like really high PBs. Because the movement in it is quite precise. So now, we're going back to Kvasia for some more exposition. We're gonna do a little thing here as well. Bye-bye. The car doesn't need to be in existence for us to be able to get a tow back to where we need to go.
You made it back in one piece. Now, just stay still and I'll get that defib upgrade installed.
As I said. Alright, so like I said, unskippable dialogue here, there's 3 of them. I think the total amount of time that the unskippable dialogue works up to is about 9-10 minutes. So yeah, any donations while we're waiting?
The resurrection power, and I do believe that you will need it.
Yeah, so anyone who just tuned in, welcome to AusSpeedruns at DreamHack 2024. So at this event, we are currently raising money for Gaming Cancer, a charity which funds early cancer researchers who are working across all areas of cancer research. And anyone who would like to donate, feel free to go to the donation link at the Twitch bio or go to donate.ausspeedruns.com. And also, quick reminder that for tomorrow's stream, we have a donation bid war for the upcoming Pokemon Fire Red speedrun. We have a couple of donation bid wars, whether it's the choice between choosing the boy or the girl main character, or the rival name bid war, or the squirrel name bid war, or the training name bid war. Back to you, Balaka.
All right. So what we're doing now is we are trying to get a sample of the Feltrite that we got from the very first mission from the mayor.
Very interesting.
We get that basically refined. He looks at it. We're coming up to Sheriff.
Now that is another bit of...
Now that's pretty much the missions from those people done. I don't think we get another mission from them. We have the well. The well is, I would say,
We need these bandits dealt with.
would I say? I think it is. I think it is the best dungeon for the run in terms of the variety of the tech. There's a lot of planning out your kills for one of the events to take place. We've got an RC skip that we're coming up. A lot of fast-paced movement. It's an awesome one. All right, we got 4. I kind of. Okay, yeah. I'm running a bit against the clock here because if those enemies catch up to me and hit me into the explosive, I actually don't know if I put enough down. Yes. It's just not playing nice. It's unfortunately just one of those skips. If it doesn't line up... There we go. Really? Okay. Yeah, and that's why we keep the pistol. Even though you can do certain skips with a shotgun, there's something about the explosive property of the pop rocket that stops it from working to its full capacity. Alright, so we're gonna get our striker shotgun, line up a bunch of them. Did I? There we go. That would have been good if I hit it in the one. Alright, this is where that circle strafe comes in. So we're going to go here. No. Okay. The reason that we're doing it and the way that we're doing it is we need to get to the gates before... Yeah, we need to get to the gate before it closes. Otherwise, we have a backup if we can't get it to work. There we go. Perfect. Third time's a charm. I'd say that's pretty good for me. That's one of my weaker... that's one of my weaker skips. I've only just recently been able to hit it with a decent level of consistency. But yeah, we do have the backup. Did he just tank a headshot?
Get that damn gate open. Working on it now.
Wow, 2 shots? So we just have to do that to get the scripted gate open. We're going to ramp jump over here, take him out, grab some toxin, and leave. So when this level is done really fast, it's one of the most impressive runs. Not only in the game, but I think in first-person speedruns in general. I think it's probably one of the more impressive ones. So now that we've left, hell, there's no way that broke out on me. All right. Normally I go this way anyways, but that way is faster by like half a second. So, we did all of that to find out that they've been working with toxins.
I don't know what it is about it.
Now, what we're going to do is take that toxin back to Kvasia.
You ask, I know. Thanks again for your help.
And what'll happen after that is once we've spoken to... Ooh, no, not this one. Once we've spoken to Kvasia, we're going to come back and the whole authority part of the storyline will start to play out in mainline quests. Felt right. Unfortunately, we cannot get all of them, but we'll get most of them. So yeah, the Authority mainline quest starts. We'll do a bunch of stuff. We're going to free someone from Authority Prison, which is again, another awesome level to speedrun. We got to skip this one so we don't get slowdown. And then we do a couple of level revisits. A lot of it is pretty straightforward. It's just the skips that we do get quite interesting. A lot of RC skips. And for good measure, we'll yeet it off the cliff again. All right, this one doesn't take too long, thankfully.
Hello again, my friend. Yes, my friend. Time to analyze exactly what it is you have here. Let me look at this.
Now with this is the unfortunate part of the run, is that this creates the best weapon in the game. It creates mind control darts, and it is exactly how that sounds. You use the striker bow, you shoot an enemy, and he enters a zombified state where you can control their movement for a certain amount of time, walk them amongst a bunch of enemies, and blow them up. It is incredibly fun, and we have absolutely zero use for it in this run. Even in 100%, there's no use for it.
Now look at this. That's something. Yes, you see, you have indeed brought me something of great interest and great power.
All right, so like I said, non-skippable dialogue. So anything else to come through?
Kind of weapon for the resistance. A weapon that would make even the authority grow.
Not at the moment, so I'll just like to remind everyone of the
Small success. Injecting simple
upcoming bit war for tomorrow's Pokemon Fire at speedrun. Where we'll have a couple of bit wars, such like the boy versus girl, where girl is ahead by $5, or we have the rival name bit war as well, with Werster is currently leading at $40. We have the squirrel name bit war, where we have two close contenders in the bit war, with the lowercase w, uppercase e, lowercase rsc, uppercase e, lowercase r is currently leading closely by only $4.9 to the second place D's, how spelled Delta Echo Echo Zulu. So anyone who want to see the second places to get back to the first place, just donate $5 for the name D's. And yeah, we have the trainer name donation bit war, where Werster is leading at $140. Back to you, Balake.
So here it is.
All right, so now we've picked up the mind control darts. We're going to go back. We're going to speak to one of the resistance members, break someone out of prison, and we have a really cool skip coming up that I actually only learnt specifically for this event because it only saves about 10 seconds. But it's so fun.
Take care, my friend.
Hey, fella. You have something from Kvasir? It's not safe to talk.
We got to be careful jumping around here. I've been told that if we interact with this person that started talking to us, we can actually soft lock the game here as well. Except there's no way to get around it like we could with Richter. I've never seen it happen, but apparently it can.
The bar isn't safe. You probably have Captain Marshall. So, that's what I need. Good. You'll need this.
All right, so we need to not pick the Caprino this time. We want the June Buster. Ooh, we want the June Buster. All right, this is gonna be interesting. Nope, don't do that. So normally what you would do is you would go right the same way that you would go the Kvasirs, and it's just a little bit up further from there. However, what we're going to do here is we're going to get up here. Get our RC cars. We're going to line up with this part of the mound. All right, we want to make sure that it lines up on the shadow. We want to make sure that it's just a little... We want it to be under halfway. That should be fine. We're going to do a quick save just to be sure. Alright, this is where the fun begins. There we go. Oh! No! You love to see it. Alright, it is in the right spot, which is good. Yeah, I'm on. Alright, perfect. There we go. Alright, now we want to dip our head in here. Perfect. There is an invisible wall there. So... Really? Come on. There. Alright, perfect. I love that skip. We've been toying around with the idea with getting an RC car skip somewhere else. We just can't figure it out. There's a couple of ideas, but nothing's come to fruition yet. All right, Authority Prison. We've got a couple of these. Generators that we have to take out. Just a couple of precise shots. 2 is all that we need. Take the grenades. He was on a jetpack. All right. Good. So the reason that we avoid certain enemies and kill those is because they will affect our ability to do this next skip. Quick save here for safekeeping. What? Oh my god. That's interesting. They're normally all the way out here fighting amongst themselves. They've decided I was a good target this time.
The door controls are on that wall.
Alright.
Hurry, get me out of here. I have a plan to get us out.
Perfect. So the reason that we do that is just so we have easy access to the spawn. That's the only reason we do that. We got a railing in the way, and it's the worst. There we go. We try not to blow these ones up. If we can keep them intact, we can loot them.
This way.
Alright, so this is the prisoner that we were rescuing, our favorite Steve Blum. There's actually a lot of high-profile voice actors in this game. Like Steve Blum, John Goodman, April Stewart. It's crazy. Alright, a lot of this area, again, enemies spawning in the set location. We're just worried about AI affecting how they move. So normally what you do is you go all the way around. We gotta wait for him to stop doing that. But we can skip all of that. You weren't supposed to spawn first. That's something we have to be careful of. That particular shield guard, that came from where we came from. Sometimes they like to come in and stop Marshall from getting where he needs to be. There we go. All right. Got reinforcements coming in. Seems like it would take a lot of effort to get through some reinforcements, but it's actually the easiest part of the game. We're just going to wait for them to come out. And they go fly by on their own. All right. Do we get this particular skip?
This way. I can bypass
Ooh,
the
all right,
control.
fantastic.
Use it to get out. Just a moment. Let me try this.
Awesome. I don't even have that in my PB. We want to wait for the mission. Awesome. I actually don't even have that in my PB. That skip is incredibly hard. All right. I forgot that was there. So the reason that that skip is so hard is you're chaining your circle strafe and ramp jumps to get so much momentum that you fly over the invisible barrier on the roof that would require you to set up RC cars on a particular spot to begin with. It's incredibly useful if you can do it because it means that you don't have to spend the money on RC cars. You obviously have to do the RC car afterwards, but free RC cars where you can save them is incredible for the speed of the shop. Unfortunately, this is the most boring part of the game,
You understand how
and there's going to be a lot more after this. But essentially what we're doing now is we're just going back to where we came from. And this will be one of the few missions where we can actually teleport away before we even get the prompt that we require to confirm that the mission's been completed. All right, so we want to get out here. We want to teleport back to Duras.
I'll be there as quickly as I can.
That just saves us about 10 seconds of travel time. Now we want to line this up so we can get over this little brick wall here. Perfect. Ooh. And there's an invisible wall there. I don't know why it exists. I have a feeling it may potentially be to do with the skip that we do right at the start. But we can fast travel back as soon as we interact with the platform. Only occurs with one other mission in the game. Don't know why, it just works.
excellent work. But as of now,
And it's becoming more dangerous.
we've still got some unfinished.
So you have to wait for him to turn around and turn back and do the skip, and yet this is still considerably faster. I think this whole section with the dialogue skip is about 2 to 3 minutes faster.
And if for nothing else,
So, my friend, we find that.
There we go.
And you'll have done it. Remember.
Right,
the
gonna grab some
authority knows your
EMPs. Again, another tool that's just super useful in higher difficulties, but is just never used in the run or even on easy mode for a regular playthrough. The game balancing is very interesting in this game. There's a lot of core concepts and designs that work really well, but they only work well when you're pretty much forced to use them in the higher difficulties. Like as you can see, you can get through the game with just a shotgun. All right, going back to Dead City. This one isn't as bad. It's more movement than anything. It's just a matter of making sure you don't misremember where certain turns are. We don't need that hammer. All right, now we actually need the pop rockets. So as you can see, even I still get messed up. I just realized I will actually need to dive into this. Alright, perfect. Sometimes you can run out of reserve, especially if you're heavy on using it to get around enemies rather than movement. But in that particular section, you're forced. You can't get around it. Interesting tidbit about this door. Even when it's doing that little movement on the ground, it will kill you. It maintains its damage property throughout the entire animation. We've seen people lose runs to it, and it's a little bit funny. So a lot of movement, just trying to avoid snipers. The snipers aren't so bad. Like, again, easy difficulty, snipers aren't really an issue. High difficulties, they absolutely are. Alright. Now the reason that we're doing that without sprinting, if we sprint, we can't change it, but we can change it while we're sprinting. But we... EMP? There we go. Sometimes that EMP is a little bit funky. And there is an entire encounter that happens there for no reason. You can just walk past it without any issue. All right, now the only time that we use the EMP grenades is we just want to cook it in advanced. Come on. Ooh, that's not good. You can hit that with the pulse round from the shotgun. It's just a bit of messing around. You do have to line it up, and those authority soldiers can just knock you out of the way. It's just a hassle. We're currently trying to see who can lob the EMP grenade the furthest away and get it to hit the grate. It's incredible. One of the guys that runs this, Zen, he did... I guess it's called a LOTAD. And he spliced an EMP run that basically happens as an EMP throw that gets as soon as you enter the plane that you run up the stairs on. It's incredible. You can do so many funky things in this game. It's just a lot of luck.
Gear, you're all broken down. No worries, I'll be there in a minute.
Another fast travel. The fast travel is the bread and butter. I think there's 7 fast travels overall. All right, now we go back to Marshall.
You have made one great find. But now it's time to say your goodbyes.
All right, perfect.
Elizabeth is
So
on ahead
this
in
is
preparation for our
the
arrival.
first portion of the game done. Once we're done here, we enter a new section. We have 3 missions in there. It's actually extremely short, and it really has to do with the fact that they just lost time to finish this game at the end. Deploy the communication scrambler.
Ready to leave?
We have to just keep skimming the stair because he will keep talking until that point. You can't do anything about it. All right, we're chilling for a little bit. We've got some exposition coming in about why we're going to where we're going, and meeting the crew basically. So if anything's come through, now's the time.
We're probably just days away from the authority finding you. But you've heard the expression, out of the frying pan.
All right, so
Welcome to the fire.
this is AusSpeedruns at DreamHack 2024. We are currently raising money for the Game and Cancer charity, which is a charity that funds early career cancer researchers who are working across all areas of cancer research. So anyone who would like to donate, feel free to go to the donation link on the Twitch bio page, or go to donate.ausspeedruns.com. And I also want to remind everyone of the prizes we have for all of the donators. So we have a couple of game codes as a prizes, so such as for Cult of the Lamb, or Doors of Insanity, or Hazel Sky, and the Library of Babel. So each of those game codes are available for any donations with a minimum of $10 donations.
Our base sits right below.
Back to you, Balake.
All right, come this way.
All right, so now we're here. Again, whole lot of talking.
Base is just through that
See if we
door.
can Mario him. Nope. No, he's haloing. That's weird. I've not seen that one before. There we go.
Lassard, Marshall here. Security code 1228.
Roger, Captain. Welcome back. I see you have our guest.
This way.
This way. One of the things that happens with dialogue skipping that you're going to see here as well is there is contextual zones.
All right, people.
So here, I have to go all the way out here and then all the way back.
Okay, so the first thing.
But then I don't have to do it on the second one. Very strange. Alright, so basically, story-wise, if we're going to play catch-up, what we're doing now is we've come to the Eastern Wasteland, where this guy basically runs a slum, almost. We are working there with his permission, and everyone knows everyone here, and everything runs through this guy, Redstone. So we're trying to get his attention, and the first thing that we're going to do while we're trying to be okay with him is run away.
Oh, hello there, cutie. Please tell me what I can do for you. Name's Janny. I sell.
All right, this is
Make a
Shop
little
2.
money.
Shop
Helps me
2
keep my head
is a
above
little
water.
important
I bet
because
you
we got to
wouldn't
make
say
sure that we're
anything
not
goes
selling the
fine.
things that we need
Got
again,
it.
but there's more stuff that we need here. Small objects, tools, we need the RC kits. We don't need the toxin, the glands, and the Feltrite power packs. We can get rid of the EMPs. That's fine. Sell those. All right. Ammo. We get rid of a bunch of ammo here. So we get a 480 rounds. Unfortunately, the mind control bullets. We need to keep some of those electro bolts. They're important for a level later, and they don't give us an opportunity to get some more after. Right, perfect. Now, buy items. Alright, so we need Advanced Sentry Turret. We need to buy 6 Ordnance packs. 6 of these. 6 of these. I accidentally bought 7. 6 of these. We do need a bunch of explosive packs. We also need, if we can get to it, Buckshot. Okay, so we've got plenty there, so we just want to double check to make sure we've got enough RC cars. We've got 11, perfect. We've actually got enough for a little bit more. So again, super important. A lot of the routing that you'll do when you start out the game is finding out what items you can, can't, or should or shouldn't pick up. Because there's a lot of junk that you get along the way that you can sell, and there's a lot of things that I've picked up that you can realistically skip. For me, it doesn't really matter, especially in a marathon setting. It takes 5-10 seconds to get out of the way, but when you're really pushing it for time, it becomes quite important. So we are fine with 11.
Okay,
Come back to the conversation.
so go help him out. Good. Just prove yourself. Think you can help?
Alright, so the foreman is going to get us to sort out some problems with the station that's under us. Called Blue Line Station. Blue Line Station has one of the best skips, but it is also one of the most frustrating skips, simply because of the terrain issue that was mentioned earlier. A lot of it is dependent on very slippery, unmarked terrain. But it utilizes everything. It utilizes the RC boost, it utilizes the depth abuse. There's strong routing in it. It is the strongest level overall. Strongest level overall when it comes to showcasing what the run has. And this is one of the reasons that we need to do it. This particular section is strangely an auto-scroller. Don't know why they've decided to make it an auto-scroller, but it is based on the amount of kills that we get, and the turret just helps us get there quicker. So once we've done that, we've got another section where it's completely RNG. RNG. It's not RNG, the opposite of RNG. I missed it. There we go. That's right, I didn't want it anyways. So we're going to bait him into the turrets. We're going to wait here. We can't get through this door at the moment. Until, again, we kill enough enemies to be able to do so. Alright. Alright, quick save is important here. There's an invisible wall. We're going to line ourselves over. Oh, that was alright. Again, see, very slippery terrain. Now we're going to ramp jump up here. Perfect. We're going to do this here because if we fall, we don't want to go through that all again. Alright, and we got our last death abuse. Well, technically not the last one, but the last one where we have to change the difficulty for. And yeah, the timing is a little bit specific on this one. Oop, that's alright, I forgot to do the save. Well, that's why we did it there, rather than leave it. So again, quick saving is vital for this run's existence. because of stuff like this. It would be a very interesting run. We floated around the idea of having a quick saveless category. It's just it's not really viable, and it's not really fun, to be honest. It's definitely more of a challenge run. But now we want to go back to easy because we don't want to die here. But we do want to save here because there is a kill plane that lies beneath. So invisible walls are everywhere in this level, and I'm not entirely too sure why. But now we want to just go back to bandages. We want to land in this little crevice here and kind of just walk our way over. It is that easy to miss. Whether it's just physics aren't working in your favor, or you were like a millisecond off of your lineup. There we go. And again, another auto-scroller section where we've got to get as many kills as we can. Got some Krakens. Takes 4 shots. It really does just hold your hand through this difficulty. Now, we want to set ourselves up over here because, like with other places, they do spawn in set areas as well. Let him jump through. There we go. That's Blue Line Station. Fantastic level to showcase everything that's really required to run the game, because it really does just have everything. So now we're going to go back to Subway Town. We're going to let the foreman know that we've done a good job of completing the demolition that was required. And we're going to go back to Redstone, and he's going to have another favor for us.
Not bad. Hey, tough guy.
You did it, but I know just the thing that we took you. Okay. So I'm gonna need you to bust into that. Here's what you do.
All right, the Gearheads. The Gearheads was an interesting choice for the game. The Gearheads, for some reason, are Russian. They just are, and they are very stereotypically Russian. And there's a very good chance that the voices of them are not Russian. All right, RC car. So we want to try and line up with this brick here, but we don't want to go over. And the reason that we don't want to do that is there's a trigger here, and this is why we're setting it up in the way that we are. Perfect. So we want to get around that trigger, so we don't. There's little firewalls that come through here. We do want to quick save on this one. I should have quick saved on the other one. We're gonna reload, and we're gonna jump over another trigger. Okay, fantastic. And we're gonna get through another trigger. A lot of triggers in this one because there's a lot of walls made of fire, basically. Perfect. Nope, he didn't walk out. We cannot walk through here. Even though the gap is big enough for us to walk through, if we try to do it while the propeller is going, it's a kill plane. So now we can actually go this way. Now we want to go through here. Oh no, we can't. We have to stagger him and go through here. It's the silliest thing because you can get there before the gate closes, but there is a wall there, so you can't get through it. It was a weird choice, but it's there. And now we're just playing zoomies, getting back to the entrance. Just got to be careful of those mines. And there it is, gear head vault. Very, very simple level. All movement. It's very fun.
Bang bang killer.
Bang bang killer. Ooh.
Pardon?
I'm coming.
All right. Now we're going to tell him that the gearheads have siphoned all of their power.
I need you to infiltrate.
So now we're going to go to the power plant
We got it deep.
and basically reroute the power. Basically, there's some guy. Ooh, no, we need car. There's someone there that's strong-arming. It's again very cliche power politics kind of storyline that comes from just a post-apocalyptic wasteland. It is what it is. Now when we're doing 100% route is very interesting for this area because you don't come out here as often. There's a lot of targets that you can get. There's they're basically floating machines. I believe they're meant to be cameras. But you basically find all these different ramps, jump off them and crash into them. It's so fun. And a majority of that trip is jumping into them. The route for 100% is very much the same, but very much different. All right, we need to get Striker Bow. So the reason that we're doing that is there's these electric walls. I apparently sold that. That's right. We can get away with not shooting the first one, so that's fine. It's no big deal. That's why you have to be careful in the shop. You don't want to oversell. When you are playing the game casually, it does give you opportunities to get the stuff that you need for it. Normally, you don't have to worry about it. Other runners don't do this strat that I do in the well, where you use the electric bolts to kill them all in bulk. That's only been a recent discovery. We just want bandages. Okay. We have to be very careful when going up there. There's a fine line between the playable area and non-playable area. We got knocked off by the bullets. It's one of those ones where a lot of people do have multiple attempts in their PVs, just because it's so precarious. You can, if your movement is really good, you can force the death abuse. That one is pure luck. That was not movement based. But you can basically force that to get onto the kill plane, onto the live plane. Sorry, not the kill plane. All right. He bonked me. That's awesome. All right. Hello. All right. And we want to set these up here. Basically. Oh, by the way, boss level. Again, terrible boss design, but it is what it is. I should have probably mentioned as well, the RC car skip is one of the most important RC car skips in the game. The section that you skip is about 8 minutes worth. It is insanely vital. There used to be a way that you would do it afterwards, where you would basically no-clip over the roof all the way out here. A bunch of fancy RC car skips. But then we found out if you set up the 2 turrets there, you basically save all the time that you need. But again, this is pretty much auto-scroller.
Redstone. I'm sure he'll be glad to hear the news.
And that's it, power plant's done. Normally what we would do, if we had enough RC cars, is we do a skip at the end. It's not really all that important, it saves about 5 seconds, to be honest. So we're okay with not having any RC cars. Now, normally what we would go do is inform Redstone, but then we find out that Redstone's been booted out by the authority. So we go to our little secret hiding area. And again, just a bunch of mission prompts.
Well, you walk a fine line between it.
All right, so we want to talk to Lassard. He's the brains of the operation.
As the captain has told you earlier, getting the... Captain's got a copy. So, I need you to...
All right, Jackal Canyon. Now, when I said we had done our last Death Abuse, and I lied and I said that it was the last one where we had to do difficulty, this is where we are doing our actual last Death Abuse. It is extremely fun. It was discovered recently as well. I can't recall if... I don't believe anyone has it in their PB at the moment for this game, which is a testament to how recent it is. It was theorized in other ways. A big thing with this game is there's lots of ways to do the same thing, and we often find that we're doing the hardest way possible for a lot of skips, and easier ways get found. This skip used to be unfathomable because of the setup that you needed to do to get over the invisible wall, but it was just made trivial. Same with this skip. You would have to chain a massive amounts of speed. But now, we just... Yeah. Come on. We're aiming for an invisible wall here. There we go. So yeah. I say trivial and then I screwed it up 3 times. But that used to be chaining up massive amounts of strafe hopping to gain speed, and then bouncing off of the slope surface in a particular way. All right, we're saving here because... Nailed it. The ramp jumps in this game are extremely powerful for the speedrun. We want to make sure we've got our bandages so we can set it up. This level is the one of the things that goes to show that the game is incredibly unfinished. There was a section of this that was planned and then never done. And part of the remnants of that plan is there's a ladder that we're going to go to right now that leads to nowhere. Now, when we get up here, we want to save it here because we don't want to... We can just jump through there. There's no trick to it. It's not a paperclip. It's just jump. Ah, okay. So, the trick with getting this one done is you need to fire the rocket at a certain point, because for the... Oh, no. Stop it. If you fire it too late, you beat the projectile to the ground. So you have to fire it at just the right place. Fire it too soon, you'll blow up the barrel before you get there, and you'll only get damaged by splash damage. So yeah, that one is the one of the prime examples of you're doing this the wrong way. You're making it hard for yourself, because where the barrel gets kicked down the side of the mountain is where we would set that up. We would basically do just a big ramp jump and proxy off of a particular slope to get enough height to go over. It's incredible. It's in the low tab that I mentioned that Zen had done. It is such a great skip. It just was extremely difficult to pull off. And if you can do it, saves so much time.
I hear you. On the way.
All right, so now what we're going to do is go back down. We have to be careful here. I discovered that if you time your walk through the platform, you'll fall through, and there's no way to get back up. So we just got to be careful when doing that.
Excellent.
Hey, Captain, take a look at this.
Now we got to talk to Portman. Portman is the muscle of the operation.
I'll give you the explosive charges. Good.
And he's going to give us explosive charges. All right, so normally with this one, we'd go the scenic route around. And essentially, excuse me, what we're doing is we're blowing up generators for the shield on the bridge. Yep. If you go too fast in this menu, the buttons don't work. You can go too fast. All right, so yeah, like I said, normally we would go the long way around, blow up the generators for the shield, and that lets us get through. However, what we can do is we're gonna... Ooh. All right, I have to load from a checkpoint. That's silly. So what you want to try to do is you want to try angle it so the car goes over with you. And the backup strap to it is you can just jump over the car. But we want to go with the car because going with the car is faster. You know what? That's fine. No, it's not. All right. We'll do safety. So the safety strat is we're going to ramp off the same mound. We're going to create ourselves a little makeshift ramp with our car. There we go. So that's the safety. But the reason that we want the car is obviously it's faster than jumping through there. All right. So we wait for that explosion and that explosion. All right, that's it. Final stretch. So now that we've done that, we've got free access to Capital Prime, which is the stronghold of the Authority.
Great work. That'll make them think twice about getting too far from base. Now, before you go...
So,
I think you should take some extra firepower.
like I said, contextual dialogue. We can't go anywhere to skip this.
Liberated it from a dead god.
All right. So it is an in-tech game, and every in-tech game needs a BFG. It is not fast to use this gun, except for right at the very end, where we have something that increases our damage. That's the only time it's useful.
You've done a great job, soldier. But now, get serious. One last mission for you.
Codes are ready. You'll be able to walk right in.
Be able to walk right in, he reckons.
So is he saying that you haven't been serious for the last hour and 53 minutes?
Oh
or?
no, we've been playing silly buggers this whole time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The authority itself.
think a game like Rage would be serious.
But if you were
I mean, it sounds like one of the more serious emotions.
What? Rage is a silly emotion. Now, Vitriol, that's some seriousness.
Ooh. It's got a silly name, though.
Yeah, that's the trick to it, isn't it?
It's a sneaky serious one.
Sneaky serious. Oi, that's not good. Car's doing something. All right. For funsies, we're gonna break this while we're here. Not me. Don't break me. There we go. So that's there's 18 of those scattered, and they're super fun. A lot of them, there's a lot of really tricky ones, especially if you don't have the Caprino to begin with. It makes for some very, very fun side missions. Get nothing for it. It's just the thrill of the action. All right, we're doing real sneaky, serious stuff right now. While we're here. Oh, you know what? I can't use the BFG anyway, so... Alright, we're gonna wait for him to come out so we can get through. Get up on out of here. Alright, these ones we want to get... actually... That was not going to end well. So this is where we would do the final RC skip. You can jump over this and just kind of bounce along there. It is faster, just not fast enough for it to be a problem. It's like 5 seconds, as I said. And this is where the creativity and the budget just kind of ran out of the window. There's not a whole lot that happens in this level. It's all the same enemies. These are just mutants with a shell, and all of the combat sections are. Come on. All of the combat sections here are kill a set amount, press a button. And that extends to where you would expect a final boss to be. The final boss is a total of 24 mutants. That's it. That is the end of the game. It is incredibly depressing. But at least once you get past Blue Line Station, the game is pretty free. So it does make for a very relaxing run end. Now this is the skip that's Dane's favorite skip, and it's really fun. So we're gonna line up with this little dot here, walk into this fence, and just yeet ourselves over the elevator. Huge time save there. So now we have to wait for the elevator to come up to us. Go away. Nah, 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 nah. That's the only time you see that character as well. I don't know what it's supposed to be. So the final up-leak sequence. Now, we do have to craft one more thing, and that's the Authority Augmenter. So, when I was talking to Portland, you would have seen me pick up a recipe. Recipes are craftable items in this game. So you've got your regular craftable items like your bandages and stuff. But then you've got weapon modifiers as well. Actually, you know what? I just realized I do need... Authority Pulse Cannon. Alright, cool. So we do need a BFG. Alright. So we're going to sit here and just play turret. And this is why we get the Authority Augmenter. It halves the kill time, because this is all that you do. You stand in this section, you can see everywhere. I should have been counting. That's alright. It's you. Alright. Now, if I recall correctly, it was 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I need to reactivate it. There we go. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I bet it was 16. No, 15. There we go. And time.
I was not quite ready for that.
That is it. That is the worst final battle in any game ever.
Oh, but there were was that 15 whole enemies or?
9 whole enemies and then 15 whole enemies.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of enemies.
24 whole enemies. All right, that was great. I've been BalakehB. This has been Rage. Thanks everyone who's watched the event and donated. It's been super fun. Hopefully we'll see you all on Sunday then.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yep, thank you everyone else. Thank you everyone for attending AusSpeedruns at DreamHack Day 2. We're going to wrap it up here and we will see you back in a bit under 12 hours for more speedruns. We'll be starting with Kiwi run by Alicat and Nikosar. So see you at 11 AM Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Australian Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Good night.